It's a wet Thursday night here in the city of Lagos, Nigeria, West Africa. But it's another inspiring 1 hour with me, Mr. Purpose International, on the Purpose and You Talk Show. We have been on a series titled The Power of Purpose. The Power of Purpose. And I'm going to have two guests who were participants in their teenage years of our Purpose Discovery Academy, and one of them actually was on one of our webinars. I believe Talent to Business, one of the courses or one of the boot camps hosted by the Purpose Discovery Academy over a year ago, and tonight they will be joining me to talk about the power of purpose. Ebuka, I see you already, but let's just wait a bit for more people to join. My name is Mr. Purpose International, a life purpose mastery coach, the founder of the Purpose School, once called Purpose School, but now known as the Purpose Discovery Academy, Africa's premier leading and existing Purpose Academy, where you get to learn in a structured system of learning by our unique curriculum how to discover, develop, and deploy your potential for the fulfillment of your personal purpose for being on the earth. And tonight, I'm not going to waste any time at all. I'm going to invite straight up to join me in this very exciting conversation on the power of purpose. In case you are wondering what the Purpose Discovery Academy is about, just stay on tonight for a fascinating, inspiring conversation. Favour, Yusuf, I see you, and I'm about to invite you live. The song on the background is the song of the icon himself, an icon of purpose, the Eagle. I call him the Eagle, Minister Dunsin Oyekan. I'm made for worship. Sorry about this. I'm just waiting for my guest to join live. I can't be less than what you made me. Beat on my heart. Yeah. All right, I've sent you an invite, Ebuka. Tonight we're talking about the power of purpose. Favour, Yusuf, I hope you have seen my invite. I am extremely excited to be having this conversation with both of you tonight. We're talking about the power of purpose, the resilience that happens within the spirit of an individual when they discover.
So, like really close, like assuming I want to.
I can be less.
All right. Good afternoon, sir. Good evening,
Hey, finally.
Finally, yes.
Finally.
Yes, sir.
So good to have you here live with me.
Yes, so good. Same here, sir.
How have you been?
I've been amazing. I've been good. I've been good. How are you doing, sir?
Awesome. How's your twin sister, by the way?
She's doing well. She's fine. She'll join any moment from now.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Okay. We're waiting for the female guest. So let's
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right.
give me a second to work on
Okay, sir.
my. Okay. I think she's trying to join. Favor, I
Yes.
just accepted your invite or your request to join. So Ebuka, you're going to introduce yourself to all our viewers tonight. For those who are
Okay.
meeting, hey, hi Favor.
Hello.
Oh wow,
Good
I love this
evening,
hairstyle
Mr.
you have
Purple.
on.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. I'm excited about tonight's conversation. All right, I've stopped the music. I've stopped the music. So Favor, welcome on board. This is Flight Purpose 101. We're going to take off in a few minutes.
Thank
So
you,
good,
Mr. Purple.
so good to have you. How have you been?
I've been good. Thank you, sir. I've been good.
Wow. So what's the name
How
of
have
this
you been?
hairstyle? What's the name of this hairstyle? Just tell me.
The SI industry doesn't have a name. I actually don't know the name of the SI, but it's dread. Yeah,
All
it's
right.
dread. Yeah.
Sorry, I need to work on my the audio of my phone. So just give me a second to to get my earpods or something so that I can hear you guys. All right. So,
Okay.
but who's gonna go first? I think we should do ladies first. So,
Yes,
Favor,
exactly.
in about 2 or 3 minutes, I would like you to introduce yourself. Tell people you have 3 minutes. Sell yourself. Sell your market. Tell people who you are, what you do, and how you got to know about the Purpose Discovery Academy. Then, Ebuka, you also go in that order. When was the first time you met Mr. Noah, Mr. Purpose? So, introduction about yourself and when you met the Purpose Discovery Academy and what happened to you afterwards. So, we'll get into the conversation once that is done. So, Favor, you have the mic.
Okay. Thank you so much for this platform, Mr. Purpose. Yeah. So my name is Favour Yusuf. Yes, I'm a software engineer. Yeah, so basically what I do in simple terms is that I build websites, I build web applications, I build mobile apps, basically anything software. Yeah, I build that. Yeah, so I found out about Purpose Academy through General Mayowa, yes, from David's Army in David's Christian Center. Yes, that's DCC. Yeah, it was a scholarship, more of an opportunity to join without paying. It was sponsored by David's Army, and I just picked an interest in it because I was a teenager at that time, and I saw the opportunity, so I quickly jumped on the opportunity. Yeah, that was how I got to um, I got to join the Purpose Academy at that point. Yes. And yeah, that's actually turning point in my life because I learned a lot in a short few days. Yeah, the program lasted for 3 to 4 days. Yes, if I can remember. Yeah, 3 days. Yes, and I in that program, in those short days, I understood the importance of having a mentor. Yeah, the very like the importance of having a mentor, and I just kept praying about having a mentor. Yes, at that point, yes, and in less than 6 months from that time, I got a mentor. Like everything I'd ever asked for in a mentor. Yeah. Apart from mentorship, I did learn a lot about other things about finding your purpose. And I will still say that I'm in that journey. Yeah. And it's really been a very productive one. It's been a very interesting journey where I've learned a lot, especially from Mr. Purpose. Yeah, that's all I have to say for now. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I
Can
can
you
hear
hear
you
me loud and clear?
clearly.
Oh,
Yeah,
fantastic.
I can.
All right. Thank you so much for that journey into how you met our Purpose Discovery Academy, how you met me, and you've been a fantastic blessing to us as well in your own unique way. So we're going to get into the conversation shortly. But this young man here, he makes me have nostalgic feelings. People, you're going to know why in a bit. As in, I think on the 12th of September this year, the Purpose Center clocked 16 years as an organization. And I took a journey to Festa Town where this mission began. And for some reasons, I was still in Festa till about 8 p.m. or thereabout. Then I decided to go buy suya. For our international audience, suya is like steak meat that is roasted by the side of the road. And it's only in Nigeria you can get the best suya anywhere in the world, right? So,
Yes, 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 yes.
this young man taps me under the umbrella. I think it was even drizzling. And I turned, and lo and behold, I could recognize him, but I didn't believe my eyes because the last time I saw him, he didn't have all this manliness, the look of a man. The mustache and the beard was not there. The smile was still the same, but there was something about his eyes. I could tell that this young man has been walking in purpose, and I was so glad to see. So if you can tell everybody watching tonight, if you can
Okay.
remember the very year you met, that we met
Yes.
you, or where when was it? So let's journey back to the history
Yes.
of your evolve, or how you evolved into who you are now.
Yes.
So but let's start with your
Okay.
name and what you do.
Okay. My name is Ebuka Igbokwe. Yes, I'm a counselor. I'm a drug addiction counselor. I'm also a trauma counselor. So I help people deal with trauma, help people deal with addiction of every kind. The first time I met Mr. Purpose was I think 2010. I think I was 14 or so at that time. Yes.
Wow.
I think I was 14 at that time. Yes, I was still very, very young. I was curious about what my life was about. I knew that there was more to me, but I did not know what my life was really about. That's the person I met you. And it's been an amazing journey from that time, from that point. Um, at the time I met you, I was struggling with identity crisis. I had addiction issue. I had many struggles that I could not explain, that I could not really tell people about.
Wow.
But I remember speaking
Wow.
to you about it at that time, yes. I remember talking to you about it, talking to you and Mr. Solomon about it, and you guys encouraged me to just keep working with the Lord and just keep finding myself. That I began to find myself. I began to become more vocal. I was shy. I was a very shy person. I got to become more vocal, going for debates for my school at that time. Yes.
Yeah.
So it's been a journey of knowing who I am, knowing my purpose and working with it. And every time I tell people about the school I went to, they don't believe because you can't go to that kind of school and be like this. Yes, but I feel like God
Yeah.
made me to
And
cross paths with
that's the
you.
power of purpose. Once you
Yes,
find purpose and you begin to walk in it, it's going to polish you. One of the things
yes,
purpose does for any individual is that purpose will polish you. You will look so refined that you won't
yes,
look like your background.
yes,
So I'm so excited to. In fact, I'm hearing his story of transformation for the very first time.
yes,
So, Favor, as you are hearing this story, I'm also hearing it for the first time. So, I'm so
yes,
thrilled. That's why I have so much smiles on my face because when the Purple Center started, we used to go around secondary schools to just teach and sensitize the young people about why it is important to discover purpose at that age. And we just
yes,
kept teaching. We're like the farmer that went around sowing his seeds. And this young man here is just um, is a proof that I've not wasted my life, that this vision was God sent. And I'm so let's move to favor. Let's
yes.
switch to favor now. Favor, you currently work as a what's that word again? Favour, can you hear me? I can't see your video.
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Yeah, Favour, some people just joined now. So can you reintroduce yourself? Tell us what you do again.
Can you come again?
I said some people, can you reintroduce yourself because of those who just joined the conversation now? I want to pick up a question from there. Favour, can you hear me? Ebuka, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
All right, while we wait for Favour's network to be back. So Ebuka, can you share with us the early challenges you had at that time, 2010, and then what were the practical steps that you took to overcome the challenges that you had? Practical steps that you took to overcome the challenges that you had that helped to solidify your consciousness of your true identity.
Yeah. So I think as one of the challenges that I faced at that time was I had a group of friends that knew what they wanted to become. And my two sisters, they wanted to become doctors, lawyers, and I didn't know what I wanted to become. So I joined science class because of my twin sister. Yes, because I wanted to become a doctor cover. And I was good at it. Whatever I put my mind to, I can actually be very good at it. I learned early. So I was just following the trend, following everyone's plan without having without my own plan. That was no challenge I had. So one of the practical steps, when I remember when I encountered you, the first question he ever asked me, he said, "What are you willing to live for and die for?" I'm not forgetting that question. That question has always been the question that helped me every season of my life as I walk. As in, what am I willing to live and die for? So that question was the question that actually made me really think about it. Am I willing to die for medicine, for being a doctor? And I knew that that was not what my life was about. I was gifted in music, I was gifted in many other things, but that's not what my life really is about. Those are things that will be channeled in many things I'm doing, but that's not really the fullness of my life. So I have to separate myself, realize that I'm an individual apart from my association. That was the first thing I did. Realize that I have my own life and I have my own path I need to find. The second thing was to dig deep in myself, was to ask myself questions and also ask God questions. Again, one of the things he said to us when I was a teenager, he said to us that what is that thing? What is that? A product cannot define what it was created for. The manufacturer tells the product what it's about. So I need to go back to
Wow.
God to ask God those questions. Yes. So those are questions
Wow.
that led me to discovery of myself. Yes.
Wow. A product cannot tell itself what it was made for. It has to ask the manufacturer. And that's
Yes.
one of the first principles of discovering purpose. That you don't decide your purpose, you
Yes.
actually discover your purpose by asking your maker. As simple as that principle is, I know a lot of adults, I've lost count, that have never stopped to ask that question: what was I born to do? They just
Yes.
assume that they know. They just flow with the tide. A lot of them even look successful. They look
Yes.
successful to onlookers, but internally they are extremely sad. They are there are people who they have two. I call them not two-faced in Libya, but they are two-faced, right?
Yes.
To the public, they have this extremely happy uh, disposition, but when they are alone, they become very sad, and many of them they become addicts.
Yes.
Some of them
Yes.
become, and that's what drives a lot of people into addictions
Yes, sir.
because their souls are empty, their souls are void. They've done so much, but yet they still discover that there is a big hole right in the center of their hearts, and they are wondering, with all I seem to have gathered, with all I seem to have accomplished, some people would think, okay, maybe if I get an extra certificate from school, so they
Yeah.
go back to school, get an additional
It doesn't
master's
work that way.
degree, but they have not scratched the master's decree over their
Yes.
lives.
I see what you did
So,
there.
so now you work as an addiction coach. That was what you told me. That was
Yes.
so, you made such a strong statement when I heard you say, I had to turn. I'm like, that's so powerful. That's so new. So how did
Yes.
you discover that niche that you are called to be an addictions coach? I've never heard that before, and I'm so proud of you
Thank
that
you,
you
sir.
have journeyed with God, and also I'm sure you must have been either mocked or looked at
Yes.
as odd by some of your
Yes.
peers at that time. What's wrong with this one? Why are you trying to feel like you're special or something? So,
Yes.
how did you overcome peer pressure
Yes.
and especially other people's opinion of what they thought you're supposed to become?
Yes. So at the point where I met you, just a few years later, I got saved. I got encountered and I got born again, and it began to show me things about myself that were. I began to realize that I was born to become an answer to a problem that existed for me. That was the first thing I
Hmm,
realized. So I
powerful.
realized that yeah, I realized that that was so I'm a solution to a problem, and I realized that the unique struggle I had as a young person were pointers to what God wanted to do with me. So
Wow.
I struggled as a young person with addiction, with sexual addiction, porn addiction, masturbation addiction, tolerance addiction, and I realized that these are conversations that people don't talk about a lot. People just shy from the conversations, and so I began to just talk about it everywhere I found myself in schools, in church, and God began to send my way from Nigeria, outside Nigeria. At a point in 2017, I began a platform called The Cave. The Cave had members from Nigeria, Africa, outside Nigeria, America. We had over 500 people who were doing the addictions and were being helped through the Cave
Wow.
platform. Yes. So at
Wow.
that time, yes. So at that time, the struggle for me was the struggle of people who are older than me telling me that I'm too small to do what I'm doing.
Oh,
So
wow.
yes.
Wow.
So they were leaders, elders in my life who told me I'm too young. You're too young to what you're doing. But one of the greatest gifts that God gave me was a mentor who was watching over me and who was speaking against the negative words, who was telling me that there's more that you can do. So when people are telling me that I'm too young to do what I was doing, my mentor was telling me that you can do better than this. You can achieve more than this. And that was the propelling force to actually get better. So I got to the university. I got delayed to go to school for 5 years. Job happened to me and happened to them. But in those years, I was learning a lot, taking up courses on listening for addiction. There's
Hmm.
another something called listening for addiction to get certifications. I got certifications for addiction counseling, for therapy. And
Awesome.
when I got to university, I studied medical parasitology. Yes. Again, I was trying
Awesome.
to get validation from people. I wanted to be like everybody. So even though I was working similarly in purpose at that point, I really was not satisfied. I wanted to be just like my friends. So I applied for medical parasitology, and it was in my final year, in my children level, I came for IT and I worked in the hospital. And I just realized that's over my life. I cannot survive in the hospital. I was not afraid of the blood, but I just knew that I'll be depressed if I'm working in the hospital. This was not just
If
me.
you work there, yeah, because that was not your
Exactly.
place. That
It
was
was
not your
not just
place.
me.
You're like a
Exactly.
fish out of water. A
Yes.
fish, have you, I don't know. My mom loves catfish a lot. And the last time I went to buy catfish for her,
Yes.
I saw this trapped, unfortunate set of fishes in a big bowl of
Yes.
water, right?
Yes. Yes.
But they were not alive. They were not active. They were not yet dead, but they were not alive. They were
Yes.
just all clustered together in that big bowl of water. Now, God created fishes to live in water, but when you are not in purpose, and you
Yes.
are in the wrong industry, you will be clustered together like those
Yes.
fishes just being kept in water to stay just alive for the next buyer, for the right buyer to come. And
Exactly.
once you point at any of them, they bring them out of water, and boom, they're gone. And that's how a lot of people are living their lives.
Yes.
They are living just for the next paycheck, just for the next
Yes.
salary, just for the next 20% increase on their salary, and boom, they look alive
Yes.
for a few more
For a
months,
few
and
months
then they go
later.
back to being sad and addicted to the fear of coming out of that, corporate slavery or mental slavery. Now, there's something you said that is very powerful, and I want to say this to every young person watching this. If you cannot get into university at the time you ought to get into university, especially if you're in Africa, Nigeria,
Yes.
don't count the years. Rather, let the years count. Don't stay counting the years that, oh, I'll try jam next year. Then you stay idle for 1 year doing nothing but just preparing for jam.
Yes.
And that's not what you did. You added life to your years because you
Yes.
had found purpose. There was a vision that you were pregnant with. So even though the status quo, the regular regulatory exam that gets you into university, you
Yes.
didn't make maybe the cut off on it. You invested the time correctly
Yes.
because of your discovery of purpose earlier in life. Right. So on a layman's level, what does it mean to be addicted? What is addiction?
Addiction is to live dependent on a substance or something for pleasure or a pleasure. Is addiction is like I cannot live without this.
Hmm.
So I need this for constant survival. Yes.
Wow.
So that's what addiction really is about. Yes. So there are people who live like that. They cannot live without a substance. They cannot live without a pleasure they get from anything, what they're addicted to.
So
Yes.
now, let's get into the crux of the matter now. The work you do now, who are the main people you work with? Is it parents who have children who may be addicted to phones, addicted to cartoons? Is it young adults who may be like teenagers, for example, who may be addicted to pornography? Some would even make an excuse and say,
Yes.
I am not sleeping with another person. I
Yes.
am just, I'm doing the do on myself.
I'm getting
And
knowledge.
they make an excuse that I'm
Yes.
not harming anybody. It's just me, myself, and I, right?
Yes.
Then there are even some girls, they are addicted to their looks.
Yes. Yes.
So they go the extra mile, in fact, not the extra mile, they go beyond what is normal
Yes.
to ensure that they maintain a certain prototype.
Yes.
Some people are addicted to attention,
Yes.
that they now begin to do odd and weird things just to
To
get
get that.
things like social media likes,
Likes
Instagram
and
likes,
follow.
views, and those kind of. So tell us. Oh, your twin sister just joined. I think I
Well,
see your twin sister just joined. I mean, I don't know if she's in a place where she can come on live. I would like to see your face, Chinelo. Chinelo, please respond in the comment section if you can come on live. Let's turn this into a twin show. So, so Ebuka, please tell us about the people you work with and then the levels of addiction that there is, since you're an expert in that field. Chinelo, I'm waiting for your response and let me know if you can come on live.
yes. So for me, I began with sexual addiction, porn, masturbation. I began with even people struggling with sexual identity. So at that time, I was dealing with people struggling with porn, masturbation, people who were confused about their sexual identity. So I reached out to those even the LGBTQ plus community. Yes, at that time. But over the years, I began to have expansion in things I do, and I began to also reach out to those struggling with drug addiction. Yes, and my introduction into helping people with drug addiction began last year actually, and it actually began just by doing what I was doing, then also being introduced to my friends, a company I now work with, not Nigeria, in America. So that's how I began to work. So that's my first. So being an addiction counselor has always been cool for me, but I began to earn from it professionally last year when I began to
Okay.
work outside Nigeria. Yes, yes, as a counselor.
Incredible. As a counselor, incredible. So, because I was about to get to that point to ask that, so does being an addiction coach, do you earn money from it? Does it pay the bills?
It
Because you
does.
look fresh, you look brush. Because a lot of people would. The reason why a lot of adults in my own generation refused to pioneer the ideas that were very strong in their hearts was because nobody was doing it.
Yes.
It was not popular. It was not. It seemed not to be profitable. It didn't look promising,
Yeah.
right? So because it didn't look promising, they missed out on what is called total life prosperity.
Yes.
Because it is only the pursuit, the persistent pursuit of God's inspired purpose for one's life that leads to total life prosperity, where you become not just rich in terms of your financial capacity, but you are so rich
Yeah.
in your investments in people. You have what
Yes.
is called you have what's called people profits. So by God's grace, you are one of the people that the work that we do has blessed, and that's why you are here. And that's how life ought to be. In every sphere of influence, we ought to be touch bearers, igniting other people that their destinies are connected to us, solving problems that others have not solved in order to make the world a better place. So tell us practical steps any young person can take if they discover their purpose today, be or this month, October, this is October 2025, and maybe this young person is 15 years old, and then this young boy or young girl suddenly discovers that this passion I have, this conviction I have, or this discovery I have made is pointing totally in an uncharted course, a path not yet plied by anyone. What would you advise such a boy or girl to do, especially if the boy is 15 and then their parents are already saying you are going to be a doctor or you are going to be a lawyer or now you are going to be a footballer like Victor Osimhen, banging the goals, and maybe they have zero interest in sports. So, but the main point I'm trying to bring out from this question is, what is your advice for a young person who conviction and whose purpose is pointing towards something that is not popular and also does not have parental backing? What do you advise such an individual to do?
So I think for me, the first thing to do is accept who you are, accept your assignment, accept it. You cannot work, you cannot build on it if you don't accept first of all. Accept that that's your part. Then, if your parents are not in support of what you do what they want to do, but also pursue what you want to do. At the time when I was pursuing my path, my dad wanted me to be a doctor. In my dad's plan for my life, by now I should be practicing medicine. 2 years from now, I should be a lecturer of medicine. And in the future, I'll be a professor of medicine. But that was not my path. So I stepped so. So while I was still studying at school, I was still also pursuing my science, my purpose. I was still building my brand. I was still building, influencing life. That was even one of the that was the only requirement to get the job I got when I showed them the portfolio I had over the years. Lives I had over the years. So keep pushing keep pursuing and pushing yourself as a person of purpose. Keep building yourself to do what you have been called to do. And be encouraged to know that if you are called to work, start a path that one has not started, it's a great thing. It's going to be scary, but it's an amazing thing because you are literally the first the world will ever see of that kind. And the opportunities for you are limitless. When people see you working, when people see you, when people see something new, the opportunities that can come from that is really, really mind blowing. My part, what I do right now is also not so it's popular but not so popular. And so the opportunities that is like we have a world of opportunities, but we have few people that can do what we're doing. So it's great thing for us. And the next thing is to find a mentor, find someone that can nurture what you have. There are people that you
Yeah.
just need to are able to nurture the gifts that's in you. Find someone and submit that to the person, and you're a star, really. You are.
You got that advice from I dare call to
Yes.
say Dr. Ebuka, the addiction counselor, the addiction coach. Yeah, because inevitably you are going to metamorphose into a strong authority and a strong voice because you are solving a real problem that a lot of people have neglected for years. And this obviously was God breathed. I have no doubt about it. I have no doubt about it. So the power of purpose is the theme of this conversation. So I want you to talk about that. What are 5 things that you think purpose did for you as a teenager? And you want to use that to encourage a young lad, a young girl watching this, or even an adult who is already 38 and a half and 38 and a half because their birthday is close by, but they don't look forward. You know, there are some human beings I know, there are some adults I know, they don't look forward to their birthdays anymore. Their
Yeah.
birthdays always remind them of the question that they have not answered.
Yes.
Because your birthday, the day you were born, is not as important as the day you discover why you were born. I'll
Yes,
say
sir.
that again. The day you were born is not as important as the day you discover why you were born. And the day you discover why you were born is your morning. That's when your morning season starts. Even if you are 50. So you are 50 years old and you discovered today that, oh, I ought to have been pursuing this idea, growing in this idea. You still need to do what Ebuka said. You need to find a mentor at 50. And if your mentor is 35, it's
Yes,
because
for
he
me.
started doing what he's doing at the age of 15. He's an authority in that field. So mentorship really is not by age,
Yes.
right? Mentorship is not by going to somebody who is older than you biologically. That's not what we're talking about. Otherwise, the he goat will be the wisest on the earth by the beard. No,
Yes.
mentorship is not by who was born first. Methuselah was the oldest man that lived, but that was all that he achieved. He was the oldest man. But
Yes.
Solomon was a man full of wisdom. He had insight into many things. And we saw that people came from different parts of the world to submit to his wisdom. So, the greatest wisdom of God on the earth is finding your purpose for life. That's the wisdom that will help you maximize the seasons of life. So, Ebuka, let me keep quiet. I'm just the host. I don't want to turn it this into a conference. So, talk about the power of purpose for a few minutes, then we begin to wind down. 5 things purpose did for you from the day that you met Mr. Purpose, the Purpose Center, and the things that we shared with your peers, your generation at that time.
Yes. So I think for me, the first thing was for me, purpose helped me to confront myself. I've always avoided questioning of myself. Purpose made me confront myself, confront who I was. So by
Hmm.
the part of finding my purpose, I discovered who I was and I accepted
Purpose helps
myself.
you to confront yourself.
Yes.
Wow, wow. Ifunaya, please could you type that as he's saying it? Thank you. Wow, purpose helps you to confront yourself. Wow, powerful. Continue, please.
So in the part of purpose, I discovered who I was. It helped me see who I was, helped me discover my identity. Yes, identity is really everything. So I discovered who I was. Also in the part of purpose, purpose helped me to find my uniqueness. There's some I learned that as I began to find myself, that there's a uniqueness about me that no one else has. There's a solution I bring that no one else can bring. Even if we're doing the same thing, there's a flavor I bring to it that
There's
no
a
one else can bring.
flavor, yes, there's a flavor you
Yes,
bring that is unique to Ebuka,
yes,
Igbokwe, based
yes,
on everything that God has. It's like God is like the master chef. He puts
yes,
different ingredients in different human beings that when you taste Ebuka's solution is unique
yes.
because Ebuka has discovered also what the master chef prepared for him to do. Please continue. I'm loving this.
Yes,
I'm loving this.
yes. So
So
it
these
helped me
are two
discover my
things you have said
uniqueness.
now. Number one, purpose helps you to confront yourself. Number two, it helps you to discover your unique flavor, if I could use that
Yes,
word. Yeah.
yes.
Number three.
Purpose helped me to also bring solutions. So there were solutions. So it gave meaning to my life. And I began to live a life of meaning, not just being a young man just surviving and going through life. I'm not just living for the paycheck. I now have a meaning, a reason to live. Yes. So that's what it was. It. And also purpose made me it gave me confidence that I can't die anyhow. There are days
Oh,
where I feel like yes,
preach, brother,
yes.
preach, brother.
That days where I've fallen sick. So there was time I felt sick that I feel like I was going to die. I really feel like I was going to die. And the reason why I knew that I could not die at that time was I realized that I cannot die without fulfilling my purpose completely. So I knew that God would not
Purpose
allow
just
me.
gives you that, it gives you the
Yes,
capacity to come back up again, no
yes,
matter how many times life throws your back on the ground.
yes,
The Bible scripture says a righteous man may fall 7 times, but he will get back up again. That scripture is talking about purpose. A
yes,
righteous man, a man who has found God's own reason, God's own uh, God's own wisdom for living. That's righteousness. It's actually
yes,
unrighteous to live a fake life, to live an adulterated life. It's an
yes,
unrighteous thing. Jesus said, Jesus said in Matthew that you can't serve God and mammon,
yes,
and you can serve God with mammon, but you can't serve God and mammon. What he was saying is your
mm,
motive for living must
yes,
not be just to make money, but when you begin to live for purpose, because it's value you are adding to people, you will make money alongside it, but that won't be the baseline.
yes,
And purpose protects you from untimely death,
yes,
untimely death, or what people call sudden death.
yes,
Sudden
exactly.
death. And what a lot of people need to also realize is purpose is greater than anything any insurance company can promise you. Insurance
Yes,
company have HMO and all of that. But one of the things I'm a living testimony to the glory of God, of the power of purpose to to keep you in health. I've
yes,
lived 25 years, Ebuka, I kid you not, and I say this is the glory of God. 25 years of living in purpose, I have not been sick one day of my life. And I don't use tablets, I don't use
wow,
drugs to stay.
wow,
So God is beginning to impress upon my heart that I need to begin to teach this thing that I just said. I
yes,
need to say it to this generation to know that one of the secrets to living in health
yes,
bodily is to stay. It's like wearing what I would call your purple jacket,
yes,
and it keeps sickness away. Why? Because God needs your body. Now you have
yes,
made your body like a branch office of heaven for God to find the original intention for this body He crafted. So it will be illegal for any sickness, no matter the name, to share that body with God. Let me make it a
yes,
bit more practical. Let me make it more practical. If the government of the United States come to Africa, let's say Nigeria, and where do you currently stay?
Lagos,
Don't give the exact
Nigeria.
address. Lagos, Nigeria. Okay. So, okay, first start. Then they come to first start and they buy like a building on your streets right now. The first thing they will do to that building is they are going to quarantine that building. They will stop any Tom, Dick, and Harry from having access to that building anymore, right? And then they'll put their flag in front of that building and possibly put the coat of arms of the United States government and like this building now belongs to the United States of America. Now
Yes.
they're going to start renovating the building. They're going to do a lot of renovation. So at the discovery of purpose, the early stages, one of the things that the Spirit of God does to you is that He excavates all the junk that may have been deposited in you, wrong thinking, wrong theology, wrong ideas. You know, a lot of people were born into homes where their esteem were destroyed, were battered and shattered. So God is going to begin to work on all of that self-image, the damaged self-image. They're going to excavate all the junk in that building. Then they're going to start painting the building. They're going to start, give the building a facelift. And if they bought that building, for example, if they bought that building to be maybe a hospital, the purpose why they bought the building would determine the kind of furnitures they now
Yes.
furnish the building with. If they bought the building to be a school, the furnitures will obviously be different. If they bought the building to be like a hotel, the furnitures will be different. So purpose determines it determines the treasures that life brings to you. But the first thing, well, the point I'm making here is they're going to now secure the building. They're going to bring their U.S. Army, the soldiers. They will man and protect that building from being invaded by just any Tom, Dick, and Harry. That is exactly what God does to a person who now says, Lord God, I accept to use my body and my time on the earth for your own purpose. You will feel tired naturally at times, but what you need is a good sleep, good
Yes.
food, because immediately after this life, my wife she's a magician in the kitchen. Immediately after this life, I'm going to go eat good food prepared by my purpose wife,
Yes.
the wife that my purpose brought to me. And you sleep, you wake up, and God has healed your body from the inside because your body is now one of His branch offices on the earth. That's one of the secrets to how I have lived sickness free for 25 years. I kid you not. I kid you not. And Satan has no power over your body as a human being. Because a lot of people even don't know how to keep the devil away. But sorry, I hijacked what you were saying, but
No problem, sir.
that point was so powerful that purpose protects you from untimely death. Sanik, I see you. I am Sanik. Thank you for joining. This is Ebuka. He's an addictions coach, a past participant of our tour of secondary schools, and also I think you attended the Purpose School at some
Yes.
point in time. But we met this young man as a teenager when he was 14 years old. Don't tell them your age now. Yeah, don't tell them your age. but that's over 15 years ago. Wow. Wow. So what's the fourth thing that purpose does for you?
It gives me the gift. For me, one of the things I've enjoyed working with purpose is the gift of men. I've met
Wow.
people who normally I would not have no access to. One of my greatest treasure in life right now, one of the greatest gifts that God has given me right now is the gift of my mentor. One of my mentors, DK, Pastor Debola.
You're free to mention his name. You're free to give him a shout out. Mention his name, please.
Yes. Pastor Deji, Debola Deji Kurumi. People call her DDK,
Oh,
Yes. He's a
DDK,
great
I know DDK. Shout out to you, DDK. Shout out to you, Mark. God's blessings on you. Oh, wow, man. You need to connect me to her. I've not met her in person, but my wife
Yes.
has. My wife has gone through a course. A lot
Yes.
of women all over the world literally have been blessed by her work. Shout out to her.
Yes.
Pastor Debola Dejikoromi, I salute you. I bless God for your life. And thank you for mentoring Ebuka. to this
Yes.
point where he is now being, he's a blessing to others. Purpose gives you the gift of men and women
Yes.
too, in this case.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Such as some people, the people that woman naturally I won't have access to, but purpose have put my path, have made my path cross their path, and have really blessed me. Purpose has also given me so much. I think that one of the greatest place to ever invest in as I work in purpose has been in people. So
Mm.
working in purpose have taught me to invest in people than land. Yes, real estate people say invest in land, land always appreciates. But I found that the investment in lives is the greatest investment. So there are privileges and there are blessings that are generational that I know that not just me would be enjoying, my generations will enjoy it because of what I'm doing in purpose. Yeah, that's what purpose has done.
Powerful, powerful. One of my mentors, one of my grand mentors says, he said this to parents. I was on a coaching call just a few days ago. He was talking about how to be a giant parent, how to be a parent that nurtures giants. That the great, naturally Africans would say, as a good man, you have to leave inheritance for your children.
Yes,
That it is not what you leave for them that makes them giants. It is what you leave in them. It is what you
exactly.
invest in them. And
Yes,
that's what you just said. Investing in people is a more powerful investment than investing in land. You know,
yes,
I was talking to someone I just reconnected with recently, and he was sharing with me how one of his proteges many years ago, the guy made a mistake. He made a mistake, and
yes,
he came to him that morning to confess about the mistake he had made. He went astray for a season, but he came back to him.
yes.
But this guy was in a hurry to go to a job.
Wow.
And he said the reason why he was in a hurry to go to that job was he was going to be penalized from his salary if he arrived late at work.
Yeah,
So he told this protege of his
yeah,
that don't waste my time, don't waste my time. Am I the one that told you to go astray? Wait for me, I'll see you in the evening. This is not where the story ends. Guess what? On his way back from work, he was in the distribution chain for a multinational in Nigeria at that time. His phone rang and he was halted. He had to stop the vehicle because they gave him the news that shattered his life from that moment. They told him, I can't mention the guy's name, that this guy that came to you in the morning, that he's dead. He died that day. What happened? He took sniper. He took his own life because he was full of torment and turmoil. He just needed somebody to speak to.
speak.
And it was this man that had been mentoring him that he found, that he thought to go to for solace. But that day marked the turning point in so this fellow I'm talking about, he's trying to get himself back in purpose and all of that. But you see, he mentioned that event and said he still regrets it till date. And that's just something that purpose empowers us to do. Like Jesus Christ, he met the
Yes,
woman, the Samaritan woman at the well. And
yeah,
at that time, Jews and Samaritans don't even cross paths. They're like two parallel lines, they don't ever meet. But when you begin to walk in purpose, you don't see men as trees. You don't see men and walk past them. Nobody hugs a tree. Anybody in his
yeah,
right senses. You don't see men as trees. You see men
yeah,
as treasures. You see
yes,
men as doors.
yes.
What do you do to a door? You open it
Yes,
and then you want to walk through. A door leads, it gives you access. And nobody
yes,
really, you don't get in front of a door and you kick the door. No, you don't bang doors. You don't bang people. You don't treat people badly. No matter
yes,
what they look like currently, there is treasure in every human being. And
yes,
that's what you are talking about. I have a teaching on purpose that talks about 5 things better than money. 5 things better than money. And one of the things better than money is what? Is human beings, is relationships.
yes,
Relationships. And a lot of young people today need to learn this particular principle that no matter what somebody has done or not done to you, you should
Yes.
never, ever, ever treat. All right. So as we round up tonight, I want you to tell the people watching some of your own reasons why you think they should attend either the next edition of the Purpose Discovery Academy, which was
Yes.
Purpose School at your time, or to
Yes.
run to Play Store right now because we now have the Purpose Discovery Academy mobile app. All those
Ah,
courses
right.
that I taught over the years, they are now available on that mobile app. We call it the PDA mobile. So just round up, do an endorsement for us, and then we'll just wind down the
Yes.
clock.
So I think please go to Purpose Discovery. There's no better place to learn your purpose than that place. I can tell you for free because I'm a part of that school. I learned about who I was. I discovered who I was. It began a journey that is still ongoing in my life. I'm still finding new layers of my life as I keep asking myself questions with God. So go there, can't about it. There's so much about your life that you cannot find on your own. It's someone who have been working that part to work with you. So purpose discovery is a place, and there are people there. They have I can vouch for them. Yes, I can actually vouch. They have a great people. They have great answers that can help you cover who you are.
Thank you very much. So your final word tonight, Ebuka, what would be your advice to your 15-year-old version of yourself? A simple one-line advice or one-sentence advice to the 15-year-old version of you. What would you say to you 15 years ago when you were 15, if you had the opportunity to advise yourself, knowing everything you know now?
I'll say silence the noise. Focus on who you are. Silence the noise and focus on who you are.
Say that first one. Say that first statement
Silence the
again.
noise. Silence the noise
Silence the noise and
and
focus
focus
on
on
who
who
you
you are.
are. Igbokwe, the addiction coach, silence the noise, focus on who you are, and there's no other place where you can find out who you are but the Purpose Discovery Academy mobile app is available on Google Play Store. If you're an Android user, it will soon be available on Apple Play Store, and there are a lot of insightful, inspirational, and informative courses on that mobile app. So that will be all for tonight. Thank you, Ebuka, for joining me on the Purpose and You Talk Show tonight. The
Thank
network
you.
did not allow Favour to stay connected, but maybe we'll bring her up another time. Silence the noise and focus on who you are. That will be all for tonight, everyone. Thank you so much for joining from wherever you joined from. I hope this will last 1 hour.
In your heart and inspires you to go further and go further in purpose. My name is Mr. Purpose. I'll come your way again next week with another exciting episode of the Purpose and You Talk Show. Exceed as you
Thank you.
proceed. God bless you, everybody.
Thank you so much, sir. Bye.